News International CEO Rebekah Brooks stepping down amid the phone hacking scandal. Rupert Murdoch's son and heir apparent James Murdoch says News International will apologize to Britain for the phone hacking. Paul Barrett has been covering News Corp since the scandal broke. He wrote the cover story this week about the company in Bloomberg Businessweek. It goes on sale today. That's what the cover looks like. You have Rupert Murdoch right there in black and white. Paul is sitting beside me here in the newsroom. Paul, Rupert Murdoch seems to be saying there's nothing to apologize for, yet his son, his heir apparent, Jamie Murdoch, saying he will make the apology, and this longtime lieutenant, trusted ally, the CEO, Rebekah Brooks, stepping down.
Right.
What's the mixed message?
Murdoch is famous for never saying he's sorry, for always fighting no matter what the circumstances. And here you have him staying consistent on that theme, but meanwhile, very important people around him beginning to back off. And I think that's going to be the sort of rope-a-dope strategy that we see over the next few days. What
does all of this say about Murdoch's ability to lead? People recognize he's a mogul. He has this powerhouse organization. But it seems like he allowed this tiny little piece of the whole media empire that he has, the newspaper division, what is that, 3% of the company's overall profit, to put into question the whole company.
Right. Well, I think that's true from a management point of view, but from a personal and emotional point of view, it's important to remember that this whole company starts with newspapers, and that Murdoch's loyalty and enthusiasm is print newspapers, and that's really the source of his political influence in England. And now, of course, that's very much eroded.
That is very much eroded. We remember when the first scandal or notes of a scandal started coming out, and I remember there was one somewhat famous print journalist fired, and it seems like the organization wanted to blame just one journalist, but anyone who even works in the press knows that that's nonsense.
Right. Well, this is a classic situation where the company wants to blame one rogue employee, and the question is how widespread were the practices, and how high up were executives aware of what was going on?
So Murdoch obviously not just in trouble in the UK. He's going to go before Parliament there on Tuesday. But here, the FBI announced late yesterday it's opening a probe into News Corp practices. This is pretty serious.
This is hugely serious because the United States is in a crucial market for News Corp. I mean, this is where you've got the Fox operation. This is where you've got his movie operations. That's where the profits really are focused. And if it turns out that Murdoch journalists were tapping the phones of 9/11 victims, I think you're going to see a backlash in this country that could rival what's going on in England now.
What are the likely consequences? I know it's too soon to tell, but you know the company well. What could happen?
Well, they own television licenses in this country, and if they're shown to have behaved in a criminal fashion in this country, those licenses could come under threat.
We've already seen the empire take a hit in the UK, obviously having to drop the B-Sky B bid. Right. So that's just one of the properties that he's had to sacrifice.
That's a huge multi-billion-dollar deal that for the moment is completely gone. The FBI is not going to hesitate the way the British authorities have hesitated over the years.
Why do you say that?
Because I don't think they feel that they're in the thrall of Rupert Murdoch the way all of British society has for years.
Even David Cameron, it seems, has this uneasy explaining to do as to why, in fact, he hired Andy Coulson. It seems like a lot of Murdoch's deputies were brought into that inner circle. Fairly or unfairly, it feels like British politicians felt like they couldn't get elected without Murdoch.
That's right, and I think that the feeling here is different, and I don't think FBI agents who are up close to 9/11 really care at all.
So do you think it's true, though, just for argument's sake, putting the focus back on the UK, could a British politician get elected without Murdoch? We heard people don't even like him, they were just afraid of him.
Well, that's right. The politics is in large part psychology and emotion, and now that psychology has shifted, and you see politicians kind of getting up on their hind legs and roaring and sneering at Murdoch, and I think we're going to see much more of that in coming days.
Paul, you're a seasoned journalist. When are we going to begin to tell the tone here with this FBI probe? When do we begin to see the kind of public furor that's going on right now in the UK? I mean, is it as soon as this weekend?
No, it won't be. This will take weeks and weeks, probably months before you get any sense of what's going on here. And something to keep an eye on is what goes on in Washington publicly. Will politicians in Washington, particularly Democrats, look at this the same way the Labour Party has in the UK? Do you see hearings? Do you see the FCC getting interested in the behavior of Murdoch properties here?
I mean, we have 2 senators already speaking out, asking for a probe.
More than that, the number has already grown, and will Republicans join the Democrats who have attacked Murdoch, and you have to keep your eye on momentum. I mean, momentum in psychology is crucial in politics.
Paul, it's a great article because it gives us a lot more insight into the man, Rupert Murdoch, at the head of this media empire, and perhaps what is going to be a sticky next year for him. Paul, thanks so much. Paul Barrett from Bloomberg Businessweek. He is the author of that article. You just saw it there. That's our cover story. The magazine goes on sale today.